slap you on the wrist. It's an improper contact charge.
It's 1-0.
1-0.
Hi guys, you okay?
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Far away.
What sort of week have you had?
This week, yeah, good week. We the one previous obviously was a little bit fragmented with international games and guys flying around all over the place. But everybody's been back this week and just got on with preparing for the game. It's an important game clearly, but no, it's been a good week. Good atmosphere. We picked ourselves up. We were disappointed with the second half last time out, so we know the areas that we have to improve. That will come as the season progresses.
I meant more about yourself personally. I can't imagine it's been a great week. You've seen a lot in football. How tough has this last week been?
No, I mean, I take you're alluding to.
Well, the defeat and then the FA.
And then the charge after. Yeah, it rubbed a little bit of salt in the wounds, to be perfectly honest. But listen, you've had the club's response to it and their feelings on it. It mirrors my feelings. It's on the day, the incident itself, I think was interpreted maybe differently from how I felt it should have been. But it is what it is. Clearly, a charge relates to behaviour in around the technical area, which is another directive this year, which seems to be imposed at the moment. It seems a little bit differently from one game to the next, and my view is that it needs to be more consistently followed by referees and officials. If you get that consistency right across the board, then nobody here's got any problem with it, myself included. But at the moment, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Are you clear what you've been punished for? You were told at the time you were punished for leaving your technical area, is that right?
I was sent off for leaving the technical area, and my understanding is the improper conduct charge is because I didn't leave immediately, which was a little bit difficult because I didn't know where I was supposed to go. So I was hanging around a little bit just to try and get clarity in terms of where I was supposed to go. And I was asking the fourth official, who, by my understanding, should know that information. So that's why I was asking him where I was supposed to go. But I didn't get that information quick enough, obviously.
Why aren't you contesting it then?
Because I don't think we'll win. I think the FA have got something like 98% strike rate on appeals. If you do appeal, then and you lose, which more often than not you do on appeals in these circumstances, then it costs you more money. Try to give that money to my grandchildren, to be perfectly honest.
I think your club analyst has worked out that Mauricio Pochettino left his technical area 13 times in the game. Is that what you're talking about with inconsistency here?
Yeah, listen, we're not going to labour the point. It is what it is, but
you see what's interesting to us though, because we deal a lot with this and the implementation of the rules.
I'm sure. So, well, let's put it this way. Suffice to say, I'll be watching the game tonight with maybe more interest than normal in terms of whether or not it's officiated in the same manner, given the managers and their emotional reaction to things in both dugouts tonight. So I'll watch that with interest.
Will it change the way you behave? I mean, look, you've always been passionate on the touchline, very calm whenever we see you like this, very passionate on the touchline. Are you going to have to have a word with yourself, do you think? And maybe it's hard, is it, in the heat of the moment, in the battle?
Well, given that I was sent off for the first time after 35 minutes of going out in my technical area to any great extent, once in 35 minutes isn't bad. I think a lot of other managers seem to be out of their area a lot more occasions than that, but hey ho.
I wonder if it galvanises the squad, this. You've had some issues with some refereeing decisions, with the Shawcross pulling and penalties given, the way that you feel a little bit hard done by this treatment as well. Not a great start to the season by any stretch of the imagination. Do you feel there's a bit of a siege mentality? Are you using that amongst the squad at the moment?
There's a danger that obviously at the moment we want to get back to winning ways. 4 games in, we've had difficult fixtures against top quality sides. Didn't acquit ourselves last time out as well as we wanted to, but we don't want to harp on about referees or decisions or directives that have gone against us, because it sounds a little bit like sour grapes. We dust ourselves down and we get on with it, and that's how we're approaching it. But certainly, I mean, we do feel on occasions a little bit hard done by, and you can use that. I've done that in the past, and there's no reason why we can't use that sense of, at times, a little bit of injustice. There's no reason why we can't use it to our own end.
That said, conceding 4 at home, conceding 9 in 3 matches is very un-Stoke-like. Have you had to have some harsh words with the players?
Well, we were disappointed with the second half showing after the second goal last time out. Up to that point, we were very much in the game. I thought our first half performance against a very good Tottenham side, has to be said, who will go very close this year. I thought we were very much in the game. We were behind only by the 1 goal, but we're very much in the game. Second goal was the disappointment, because that affected the quality of our work in terms of understanding what we needed to do. We need to be nice and solid still, but obviously still try and press and get back into the game. But as a consequence of trying to get back into the game, we were too open. The Man City game prior to that, similar situation. We're in the game to the 85th minute, and then we lost two late goals, which shaped the result in an adverse way. So in between that, we had a good performance against Everton, which we were pleased about in terms of performance level, but not the result. So you look at the 4 games that we've had a difficult opening fixture against Middlesbrough, promoted side away from home. We did okay, got a point on the road first time out, so we're pleased enough with that. The last 3 games have been against Man City, Everton and Tottenham, who at the moment I think are at the top end of the league and are likely to be there at the end as well. So it's more to do with maybe the fixtures that have been thrown at us, along with obviously not dealing with certain elements of the game that you have to enable yourself to get positive results. But we're 4 games in. We played good teams. I would suggest almost every team outside of the top 5, top 6 clubs will at some point have a run of 6, 8, 10, 12 games without a win. That happens time and time again. Last year we had similar runs. Almost every team in and around us had similar runs. So it happens. I think it's flagged up a little bit more when it happens at the beginning of the season. These runs occur throughout the season for almost every team below the top 5. So you don't want it to continue. We've got games coming up that we feel we'll have real opportunities to win. So we're not concerned. It's just how the fixtures have thrown themselves up at us.
There have been difficult fixtures at the start, but your run, if you include the tail end of last season, now 1 win in 12 in the Premier League.
Well, I've just made that point that you go on those runs. I think it's a little bit unfair to factor in last year, because we're towards the end of the season we've gone over this time and time again in terms of the amount of injuries and the key personnel that we were unable to pick towards the back end of the last year. That's continued to a certain extent with losing Jack Butler to injury, which was a big setback for us. But like I said, performance-wise, we haven't as yet been able to put together a really solid 90 minutes Premier League performance. We've done okay, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 80 minutes in some games, but haven't really had a real 90-minute performance as yet. So that will come. That's to do with obviously the opposition allowing you to play the game that you want, and obviously it's early season form as well. We've got a number of players that maybe are not at the level that we know they're capable of, and you need it at the level we play at. You need everybody, at least 8 or 9 players playing at the top of their level to be able to get results in the Premier League. At the moment, we've got maybe 2, 3 on occasions that are not quite at the level they need to be to enable us to be competitive at the moment. So that will change. It will change very quickly, we feel.
You mentioned solid performances. Is it time to work on a solid defence at the moment? Because as Rob mentioned earlier, defensively you've been great for a long time, but not the last 12, 15 games.
Well, we haven't had that continuity in terms of selection of back four and back five, if you include the keepers, which you need to. So once we get settled and we get a run of fixtures where we have continuity in terms of the back four and five, then you'll see defensive performances and results improving, I'm sure. But there's no coincidence when you look at the more successful teams right through seasons past. The teams that have decent seasons are the ones that can keep continuity in selection with back fours. You look at Leicester last year's case in point. They had very, very few injuries at the back, and that helped them to have that platform that you need to build results and performances.
You played Wilfred Burnley for the first time last week. How important do you see him over the coming weeks and months?
I thought that's the key. Wilfred, I thought, did well on the day, but it was his first 90 minutes for quite some time. So clearly, towards the end of the game, he was tapering off somewhat. But we see him in training every day. What we're really pleased with is his attitude to work and the way he goes about his business. And once he gets his fitness levels up to where we know they need to be, then he's going to be a big player for us this year.
Is the start a little bit frustrating though, Mark? Because when you look at last season, similar sort of thing. I don't think you won your first game till end of September. So you played.
Yeah, I think it was six games. It was similar makeup to the fixtures and teams that we were facing at that stage. It's we can't put our finger on it. We go into every game with the view that we want to win and get results on the board. But at the beginning of the season, that's what seems to have happened.
So what do you do to change it? What are you doing on a daily basis? Are you going through the same stuff and just hoping it all just clicks?
No. If you do the same stuff, then it's obviously it's not. If you think that's going to change things by doing the same things, you're going to be mistaken. So we look at everything, every week and every circumstance and every game throws up different problems and things that you need to deal with and approach. So that's what we do. We do it on a game-to-game basis. But underpinning all that is obviously the work that we know works in this league. I've been a Premier League manager for 12 seasons, I think it is. So I know what works at this level. I've got plenty of Premier League wins under my belt. So a lot of the work we do is obviously geared to get Premier League positive results, and that's what it will get us eventually. But we're just having a period now at the beginning of the season that we didn't want, but it brings a little bit of pressure. But we're only 4 games in.
At what point do you start to worry?
We're not at that point yet. Like I said, it's 4 games. I've tried to explain it's the quality of the teams we've faced, and sometimes when away games in the Premier League are difficult, full stop. If they're interspersed with home games against top 6 teams, then there's always the possibility you might go 4, 5, 6 games without a win. So that's where we find ourselves. As I said, we've got fixtures coming up that we feel that we've got a real opportunity to get back on track and start our winning ways again. So there's no concern here.
How's everybody injury-wise? Any doubts?
No, we're okay. Mamdiouf wasn't obviously an option last weekend, but he's been training. He'll train today, so he looks like he's recovered from a slight hamstring. Glenn Johnson's been training for a number of days now, so we're hopeful that he might be an option at the weekend as well. So that will be a welcome return as well. So apart from that, and obviously the long-term injuries, apart from that, we're okay.
What do you make of Crystal Palace, Mark?
Yeah, I mean they've changed things around in terms of personnel, and I think maybe that's a response to the period of last season when they struggled for results, and if they thought that they needed to make bigger changes to their personnel. So they've obviously moved people out and brought good players in, and I'm sure once everything clicks, they'll have a good season. But it's, like I said, it's still very early, and same things that could be levelled against us in terms of poor run towards the end of last season. They had a similar one. I think theirs was even longer than ours, something like 1 win in 14, 15 games, I think. So that's the point I'm making. All teams can go on these runs, but the key is at the end of the season, 38-game season. It's not what you do at the beginning, it's what you finish with and what your ending total is, and that's what we always gear up for.
As a striker yourself, what do you make of Christian Benteke? Explosive at Aston Villa, then had a little bit of a lean time at Liverpool. Back now with a big point to prove, possibly.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. I mean, that's why Liverpool invested the money they did in him. Maybe it's a similar situation that Wilfred found. Went for a big move to Man City, didn't get the game time, was used sporadically in and out of the team, sometimes starting, then going out of the team. And some players just need the rhythm of playing week in, week out. And maybe Christian Benteke is similar to Wilf in that respect, that you need to build your form, you need to have that continuity of selection that enables you to get to the level that you know you can achieve. And certainly I think that hurt Wilfred when he was at Man City, because he's a player that needs to play week in, week out.
What sort of game are you expecting? Are you going to be open? Certainly.
Well,
no,
there's. I mean, you look at the two teams on paper. There's a lot of attacking talent and good talent as well on both sides. So I think it'd be a good game. It's obviously at times we've been hurt by being the home team, because the onus is on you as a home team to take the game to opposition, and sometimes that can leave you open. The onus that will more likely will lie with Palace this weekend, because they're the home team. Their fans will demand that they take the initiative, and maybe that will help us. Yeah, Shaq is still not available. He's progressing, albeit slowly, it has to be said, but we're hopeful that by next week he'll start joining in. It's been slower than we thought, to be perfectly honest, but I think we got to the root cause of his problem, and that was a case of building him up and making sure that he's available as quickly as possible. So the hope is that you'll start training with the group next week.
Mark, you talked about the interpretation of the FA rules, and one thing that really confused supporters, I think, was the booking of the yellow card for Arnautovic. I just want to read this tweet, which kind of sums it up. Bewildering decision to book Arnautovic for diving. He's leapt out of the way to avoid being booted in the chest and jumped straight back up. What chance has this game got if even supporters finding decisions so bewildering?
Well, I think maybe that's why I reacted like I did, because clearly Marco was just taking evasive action. He wasn't trying to gain an advantage. He was just trying to get out of the way. He wasn't, as like you said, he didn't stay on the deck and wave his arms claiming that a free kick should have been awarded. He just bounced up because he was just taking evasive action, and that was my interpretation of it, and clearly it was a lot of other people's interpretation. So it is what it is. You've just got to get on with it and hope it's not prevalent right through the season for us. It won't be. It'll calm down and things will even out, and everybody will get back to an even keel. At the moment it's a little bit up and down.
Thanks, James. I was going to say, you're up against Crystal Palace, but you want to kick-start your season. Palace is a difficult one for you, particularly last season you struggled against them.
Yeah, we've, for whatever reason, it's a fixture that they've always seemed to have done reasonably well against us in recent times, and sometimes you get teams, clubs like that seem to have a little bit of an Indian sign over you as a club and as a team, but it's up to us to change that, and that's our intention.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks guys. Cheers.